you put processes in place for a reason. And if you don't follow them, guess what? When something happens, it's on you. We're going to talk about systems check after the intro. Let's get it.
You have one life. You got a calling and a purpose. Welcome to the Witness to Power podcast, the show that encourages and inspires you to be who God has called you to be. I'm your host and digital evangelist, Ashley Sims.
What's going on, everybody? This podcast is going to be a little different because it just happened not too long ago. I was recording this episode for this particular podcast, and well, I normally do a systems check. Well, today, I didn't do one. I did the normal things, and so after I just finished dropping this dope message, I went back and listened to it, and it sounded a little like this.
And let all thy ways be established.
So I'm going to just go briefly teach you something. There's something called process and systems. And if you get results with that process and system, why change it? Sometimes we run into people that they don't like it. They have a greater idea and just say, you know what? I'm going to do it my way, and end up wondering why it doesn't work. Well, I was listening to this entrepreneur, and he was talking about he had a system that he'd been using and hundreds of other people been using. And the guy had called in and was fussing to one of his customer service reps. And he says, I usually don't take these calls, but this particular one, I took it. He said the customers calling and irate and complaining and fussing and yelling and would not listen. So he asked the customer about the product that he had bought. And he asked him a bunch of questions. The guy couldn't answer. So he finally started making the question simpler. He said, what is the name of the product that you buy? And the person kept fussing. They didn't know. He asked him, did you listen to any of it? And the person kept fussing. And he said, sir, it doesn't work if you don't put in the effort and do the steps to get results. And nobody's going to do the results for you. Buying things to get results don't work unless you put it to work. It's like in life, when there are systems that has gotten people results, you have to put your whole heart into it and you have to follow the steps completely. And so today, I didn't follow my normal routine of steps when I record an episode, and therefore, I have 15 minutes of audio that I cannot use. However, that don't mean it's lost. I just learned a lesson. I've always taught my daughter that because I'm training her and helping her learn these tasks and things that I do for her own business and thing. And guess what? This morning, I didn't follow it. And therefore, about 14 minutes of, like I said, conversation I can't use. And so, but that show is not lost because why? I just wanted to let you know that when you have a process that somebody is teaching you, especially when you got a mentor, especially when you pay somebody to mentor you, because in business and in life, the Bible tells us about wise counsel. There's a reason for it because somebody has been down the road before you. Before you begin, do a systems check. Check your mentality. Check where you're going. Check the vision. Look at it, read it, and make sure that's the path. And look at the steps. Lay the steps out to get your results. Because this morning, I didn't get my results. But that podcast episode, trust me, I'm going to do it. It's going to do for the next show. But I just want to show you something and tell you something. So this podcast I'm doing today is birthed out of a mistake that I made. And everything in me told me to go do a check. But I was like, I got to get this show out. It's burning on the inside. Let me get it done. Because sometimes we set times and parameters to do things, but you have to still follow the steps, follow the path. If Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life, guess what? You can't go through Jim, Jenny, or Mike just because they sound like they got a better idea. Because their grandma went to church for the whole life and they heard from her. You got to follow the steps that's laid out in the word to get where you're going. When there is a system in play, business is all about systems. And if you're in self-development, you understand there are a lot of systems out there. But if you don't follow the system step by step and learn it, and then after you learn it, then you can add your own flavor to it, It's different, but you're not going to get the same results. If you have a cake and you're baking a cake and it requires eggs and you decide to substitute it with onions, you're not going to get the same results. But you can't be mad at the person who created the pattern, the recipe, or the map. You have to take responsibility for your actions. So do a systems check before you take on anything. Go any path. That new project that you want to do, that book you're trying to write, that video you're making, go back and look at the steps involved and do a test before you begin. Because you may go, maybe if you went for an hour, 15, and realize you can't use any of your material and you're essentially wasted your time. But guess what? You learned a hard lesson. I learned a lesson today. That's why I do a system check before I begin, because I understand that I'm working with computers, equipment, things that can go wrong. Well, this episode, I hope it helps you. Do a systems check. Follow the steps that are laid out for you, the path that the Holy Spirit has laid out for you, the vision that the Holy Spirit told you to write and make it plain and read it, just like goals and dreams. You have to go there and see the vision, and then you go back and make the steps that's going to get you there. Faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. Thanks again, everybody. I appreciate you, and always follow the process that works. Learn the steps and keep moving forward. Reach one, reach many. Be blessed. Until the next time, have an awesome week.
Have you ever felt that you've not lived up to your full potential? Or maybe you felt that you have no idea what you truly want out of life, but you feel you can do more than what you're doing now? Then I have the book for you, 21 Steps to Walk in Purpose, to help you shake off the stagnation and fogginess into doing your purpose. Go to walkinpurposenow.com. Yes, that's walkinpurposenow.com and grab your copy today and walk in the purpose that you know is designed for you. Remember, I believe in you. So go and grab your copy of 21 Steps to Walk in Purpose and live the purpose that I know you have within you to live.
Thanks again for listening to another episode of the Witness to Power Podcast. Don't forget to check us out at www.witnessthepowerpodcast.com. And also subscribe to the podcast on iTunes. And be sure to check out the Witness to Power fan page on Facebook. Have a great week.